For the first time, dairy cows in America testing positive for the bird flu. The Department of Agriculture confirms herds in Texas, Kansas, also Michigan have the virus. There are also presumptive positive tests in herds in New Mexico, also Idaho. Right now, there's no risk to humans unless you work directly with an infected animal. Stephanie Haynes has more for us this morning. Stephanie, I keep thinking about all the people buying dairy this week for their breakfast or March Madness watch parties. What does this mean for humans, consumers?
Yeah, well, for consumers, in terms of your health, the risk is really low, and I'll get to that in a second. But the USDA says that this illness originates from migratory birds, and right now they are actually looking into whether it can spread from cattle to cattle, specifically in Michigan, instead of just coming into contact with those migratory birds. And we just learned that also a domestic goat in Minnesota has also tested positive for this illness, and that's the first time that's ever been in a domestic livestock, according to North Dakota State University. This illness is called highly pathogenic avian influenza. It's been found in wild birds such as pigeons, blackbirds, grackle. The illness has historically been discovered in poultry flocks, some mammals, and even goats, as I said before, according to the USDA. And they were likely infected, Markie, by consuming or coming into contact with these infected birds. And while the flu is fatal among certain poultry flocks, USDA says certain cattle that have been quarantined, kept away from others and have recovered is a good sign. So they are not dying from this quite yet. In the meantime, officials are working with local ranchers, farmers, veterinarians to identify and remove the sick cows from the areas where they are. For humans, USDA says there's no concern about the safety of our milk supply because products are pasteurized before they reach the commercial market space. And of course, the FDA has long said that humans should not consume raw milk because of all the potential health hazards with it.
This is not a food safety issue in the slightest. Those cows usually are not put into the bulk tank for sale into the food supply. That milk is diverted. Even if it does end up into the bulk tank, the food supply milk, all the milk in grocery stores is pasteurized.
The other thing USDA says is that milk prices shouldn't be impacted either, and it's too early to tell if the milk supply in general has been affected by this flu. But typically it's this time of year when the milk supply is way up, Markie, just because it's spring and that's sort of the season. Markie.
Yeah, really good to know. Stephanie Haynes, thank you so much. We'll keep our eye out for this story.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. Also, don't forget to click that red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.